As we discuss sustainable investing strategies, you probably find yourself wondering what type of companies do these funds actually tend to invest in? We took a look at the largest global SI funds, making up nearly half of total invested assets, and found how they are different and similar to broad equity funds. Interested in learning more? Stay with us for a few minutes right here on UBS Trending. Hi everyone, and welcome to UBS Trending. I'm your host, Michelle LaLiberty. Amonti and I are back in the studio to break down the latest sustainable investing research, this time focused on what the largest SI funds own. So let's get right down to it. Amantia, I know we're usually here talking about what type of sustainable investment opportunities are out there, but I want to switch it up a little bit today and talk about this analysis that the team has recently done, looking at SI funds and what's inside them. So can you just start by telling us a little bit about what type of funds that you looked at and some of these key takeaways here?
Yeah, of course, happy to. And truly, as we always discuss investable opportunities, we get all these questions from clients. What are the names that I'm actually likely to own in these funds? So to answer that question, we looked at a data set from Morningstar Direct of the world's largest, in terms of invested assets, equity funds that were labeled as sustainable investments by Morningstar. What these funds amounted to was essentially over 1,500 funds, which had about $1.2 trillion invested in them as of June 30th of this year, 2023. These funds were interesting because while the total number was $1.2 trillion, and what we're seeing here is some of the key stats, actually about half of these invested assets were invested in only 8% of these equity funds, again, as of the middle of this year. So then we focus our analysis further into these 121 funds. Another very interesting thing that we realized was that of all of this universe, 80% of the funds are domiciled in Europe, so either in the European Union or in the United Kingdom, pointing us to something about where flows are going and what these strategies actually look like.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. Despite thousands of options out there, there are still some signs of concentration, it sounds like. So can you just tell us a little bit more about the impetus for taking on this research, or what type of questions do you get that this research helps answer?
Yeah, of course, multiple questions. So one of the most common questions that investors and clients will ask is, if I invest in one of these funds and I open up the hood, I look at my top 10 holdings, what am I likely to see there? And so from that perspective, that's one of the answers that we try to kind of look for, is what are the names that are most likely to be owned in these funds, but also how does that compare to the benchmark? In other words, if I see Apple, Google, Alphabet, right, or Amazon, Meta, these names, is it because these are sustainable? Or is it because the managers or indices are taking an active view that is more or less compared to the benchmark? So that's number one. The second answer and question that we're looking into is, what are those investable opportunities that maybe are captured by the market or perhaps are not, that we can then sort of think about additional advice around?
Yeah, and a couple of the examples that you just gave there reminded me of, one of the questions that I've gotten, and that's, are sustainable funds overinvested in tech, right? And what can you tell us a little bit about that following your research?
Yeah, of course. That is the number one assumption that we've heard over the last few years. So to answer this question, what we did was we looked at all of the holdings in this universe, the concentrated universe, to those top funds by ownership. And we compared the weights in the holdings to the benchmarks, specifically to the S&P 500 for the US funds and to the MSCI ACWI for global funds. And what we found was that actually the answer is no. At least on a weighted average basis, these funds tend to be pretty much on par on the technology sector, very slight underweight, in fact, by 66 basis points for globally invested funds. Now, the things that did surprise us was that sectors like industrials and materials were slightly overweight. Maybe that reflects some of the thematic work that you've been doing, Michelle, that's being accepted by the market. And then things that were more expected, I'd say, there was energy underweights. We discussed it a lot, but it wasn't zero. So there is still energy exposure on a weighted average in this universe, which is important also for investors to pay attention to.
Absolutely, that's really interesting. So what about the kind of breadth between these types of funds? Are they all the same? Did you find a lot of differences between them?
Yeah, of course. Like, look, what we don't want people to think is, oh, any SI fund that I'm invested in will be 66 basis points exactly beneath the benchmark. That's not the case. What we did was we looked at the spread of the actual weights on each of the GICS sectors in these funds, and then looked at what that looks, kind of how it compares. What we noticed was that the technology sector is where you'll find the broadest weight. I think we have a chart on that too, where you'll see that some funds will have really below benchmark exposures and others will have above benchmark exposures. What this implies really, and it's important for investors to consider, is two things. Number one, as we've always said, sustainable investing is not a one-trick pony. It's not just one strategy. So it's really important to think about all of these kind of differences between strategies. And number two, implementation really matters. A lot of the index analysis is helpful directionally, but working with a financial advisor or taking a personal perspective on every individual instrument is important to identify if it meets your objectives as an investor on SI and on investments.
That's great. I think those two final takeaways there are a great place to stop for today. So thank you very much for joining us, and very interesting research. Viewers, for more, take a look at our monthly Sustainable Investing Perspectives report. And for even more CIO research, visit ubs.com/views. Make sure to follow UBS on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X, previously known as Twitter, and check out our Instagram channel at UBS Trending for UBS Studios content that you can't find anywhere else. As always, if you have any questions about your portfolio, please speak with a financial advisor. Until next time, I'm Michelle LaLiberty. Have a great rest of the day, and remember to keep your eyes on what's trending.